Boys and girls, this is the Undisputed Era. Adam Cole, Kyle O'Reilly.
Hello, Steve. Hello, Larson. It's me, Dexter Loomis, NXT Superstar. So here's my shout out to the Going In Raw podcast. Clever name.
Hey, friendo, Steve here.
And Larson.
And welcome back to Going In Raw, the only pro wrestling podcast you need to be listening to right here at youtube.com/Steve and Larson, available wherever podcasts can be found. And of course, taped live at the Twitch at twitch.tv/Steve and Larson, where tonight we just passed, once again, 500 subs. So Larson, when are we doing our 24-hour stream?
Already did it.
However, we're not doing a 24-hour stream. I reluctantly I'm like 80% convinced that I'll be doing.
You're already committed to it. We're doing the election night gaming stream. We're playing some Among Us with friendos, watching election return. Either be happy, things go our way, or just devastated when it doesn't. And but at least we're gonna do it all with friends, so that's good.
Yeah, we'll see. Maybe I'll be there. Maybe you'll just let me know how it goes down. Anyways, that's next Tuesday. I really hope that Impact...
Oh, and by the way, if you haven't yet, please do vote. Go out there and vote.
Yeah, totally vote. What was I going to say? Quick correction. Today, evidently, like on Patreon, it was fine. But the same file that I uploaded to our podcast server for our news brief was only like 5 minutes long, where, in fact, the episode was 22 minutes long.
It was 22 and change, yeah.
Apologies for that. I didn't realize. So just now, if you want to refresh your podcast app after this episode,
just got a notification that it was up.
There you go. It's there.
It's there.
So, check that out. O-Dog says Impact will make Steve happy for Tuesday. We need to find out who shot Bravo. Oh, that's going to be a long
Yeah, we're not going to find that out next week.
Yeah. So, but no, I'll keep tabs on Impact. Maybe I'll do it'll be like an Impact co-stream, election returns, one screen for Among Us. It'll be like our own war room for the election.
There you go.
Where all the pertinent screens, I'll have like C-SPAN, Among Us, Impact, our faces.
Does C-SPAN even do election night stuff?
Oh, I don't know. We're finding somebody. We're going to rip somebody off.
I never watched C-SPAN for election night stuff.
We're co-streaming something. I doubt they have really cool graphics if they do. But I'd be kind of shocked if they didn't. It's always pretty bare bones operation
of their C-SPAN.
Yeah. So anyways. NXT's Halloween Havoc is in the books. They spared no expense, with the exception of maybe that goofy pumpkin that was up at the top of the stage that Johnny Gargano.
Johnny took care of that in quick order. So.
I think that was the only non-legit thing. There was that was
legit from Spirit Halloween store.
Yeah, that was the only thing that wasn't legit about the show, and it was only there for Johnny Gargano to rip it up. I thought that was good. We even had a bag of body parts. Man, I thought this, I'll be honest with you, this was probably better than any takeover I've seen this year. This was an absolute, this was a blast. This is a blast.
For the most part, they towed the line of professional wrestling program and cheesy Halloween special pretty effectively. You can make the case at points during the Haunted House of Terror, they may have went too far one way or the other. The only thing that was missing, I wish they had done, and they would have made it too goofy, but I don't think so. Battle Royal. Give us the theme Battle Royal.
I know, because we saw at least, a bunch of the people out in the crowd were dressed in costume.
Yeah.
And then we did see, I know that one of the zombies was, what was the dude's name from Evolve that was in the Thatch Can sequence last week?
Oh, Anthony Green.
Anthony Green. He was one of the zombies. I didn't recognize the other zombies.
That one woman that was like crawling all over Loomis towards the end, that was really great.
That was awesome. That was so great. But then we saw, one of the Performance Center guys, I think it was somebody in Performance Center dressed up like the Giant, and then somebody was the Yeti during that great sequence where Killian Dane was a Shockmaster. So, like, the ingredients were there for the Halloween
Someone in the crowd
battle
was dressed as Spike Dudley, it looked like.
Okay, yeah, I did see them. And then on top of that, yeah, there is just some really, really fantastic wrestling. I was kind of worried when Candice versus Io kicked off at the 10-minute till mark, but they had an overrun tonight.
Yeah, I read there was going to be an overrun.
Yeah. So that was cool because that match was an absolute banger. I thought Rhea Ripley versus Raquel Gonzales.
Man, that was great. Especially the first half, it was outstanding.
An absolute coming out party for Raquel Gonzales in terms of, man, she is legit. She can hold down a really, really fantastic match. And then we saw, of course, a title change with John Gargano, with the help of somebody dressed up as the Scream in the Scream costume.
All right. So initially, my thought was Indy Hartwell. Seemed kind of too tall. Man, I know she's tall.
Indy's tall. So if it's my guess, so the body of the person in the North American title match, I thought was a dude.
Yeah, I thought so too.
The person who came out at the end, obviously the implication is it's the same person. They might just be kayfabing it. But yeah, clearly it has to be Indy Hartwell, at the very least the person helping out Candice. I don't know a guy that would be, somebody here says maybe it's Austin Theory.
Yeah.
Maybe they'll start up a little like a Gargano family faction with Austin Theory and Indy Hartwell. But my guess would be if it was a woman that helped in the end, then it was Indy. If it was just one single person, yeah, it might have been maybe Austin Theory, perhaps. I don't know. I'll put it this way. There's nobody obvious in terms of a male that...
A couple people are saying, along with Austin Theory, Brendan Vink, who's now Tony Modra. Is that his new name?
Tony Modra. That sounds right. Yeah, that could be. Give him something to do. That'd be cool. I love that there's like a little, not a whodunit. Well, I guess this would be the inverse of a whodunit. Who helped them? So yeah, I thought this was really, really cool stuff. And it seemed like everybody was having a lot of fun. You know, I'm sure some of them are probably distracted by all the COVID nonsense going on at the Capitol Wrestling Center.
Yeah.
But anyways, we'll just dive right into it. According to my Steve notes here, I called this Triple H's wet dream because totally, dude, you open up, there's a dude live on a guitar. You have Shotzi there in an electric chair.
And then she's got one of those saw gimmicks that does the sparks.
Yeah, she was born for you could tell because she had like 3 or 4 costume changes. I think this first one was like maybe some sort of Frankenstein creature.
Yeah, it had green on it. I recognize that. Yeah.
Yeah, it was like she's all stitched together. Maybe there's some more specific references that I missed, but yeah, she was our hostess for the night. She was absolutely terrific in that role, and she got involved a little bit later on. So she welcomed us to Halloween Havoc. Damien Priest came out to like a live metal version of his theme. That was really cool. John Gargano, of course, being the big Disney nerd that he is, came out as Jack Skellington. He had like Jack Skellington themed outfit on.
And then he popped the giant pumpkin at the top of the ramp.
It's like this big cheesy Spirit Halloween store pumpkin that's smiling. It was out of place because everything else was really like grungy. And then there was this big goofy. So that was there just for him to just
destroy. Yeah. It was great.
And then Shotzi spins the wheel to make the deal. And we got, did I get this right? A Devil's Playground match.
Yeah, effectively Falls Count Anywhere.
Yeah, Falls Count Anywhere, no DQ, whatever.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
Falls Count Anywhere usually no DQ also.
Yeah, I think it would have to.
You can use weapons and stuff.
Yeah.
So, yeah, this is a really, really, really fun match.
It was a lot of fun. Went all over the place. Saw a lot of cool spots. There was this great bit where John gets a kendo stick from under the ring, and then Priest gets his telescope baton out, and they kind of have a duel with their weapons while neither of them actually made contact. And so they brawl, up the. There's a great spot too, shortly thereafter, where Priest catches a suicide dive from Gargano, goes for a choke slam. Johnny reverses that into a flatliner against the boards, and then follows with a sliced bread on the ring steps.
Yeah, that was really cool. He got 2 on that one. Yeah,
that was rad.
Yeah,
and then
that was
Priest
really cool.
And then, Gargano goes for a tornado DDT. Priest reverses that into a Falcon Arrow onto the announce table. They brawl up towards the spin the wheel set. This bit was great. Johnny opens a coffin, and like there's like a jump scare, like dummy thing that pops out of it. He super kicks it. It was great.
That was cool.
That was funny.
Yeah. So they end up. Let's see here.
They brawl backstage for a bit and then come back out towards the spin the wheel set. Yeah, and that's where the finish of the match happens.
So Priest is about to powerbomb John into like a cauldron of dry ice. John counters that with a super kick.
John.
It's a garbage can, uses it once, twice, loads up a super kick, but Priest hits a spinning heel kick and another one to the garbage can, which goes into John's head. So Priest then loads up for a reckoning, and then someone dressed as the Scream character from the movie Scream. Hits him with a pipe. Gargano hits a sort of, I guess a DDT, slice bread.
Yeah, tornado DDT off the wheel. That was cool.
Yeah. And then Scream gives Johnny Gargano a literal tombstone, not a tombstone pile driver. He hands Gargano a tombstone. And he crushes Damien Priest's head with it. He falls to the ground off the stage through like a table or some boxes or whatever. Gargano crawls over there, gets the pin, and we once again have John Gargano. As North American champion. But, our description of the match doesn't really do it justice. A lot of creativity in this match.
That's what it was. It's a banger.
Gave it
I don't
4
know what
stars.
it is, but like ever since Damien Priest won that title, man, it's like he's moving at 1.5 speed.
Yeah, man. Yeah, he found his groove.
He's moving faster. His moves are crisper. I feel like he's really coming into his own as a professional wrestler. He's putting it all together. This time at the PC is working for him pretty well. So we go to commentary. It's a bummer. I was actually upset that Damien Priest lost.
Yeah, me too. Actually, I'll be honest with you. I thought I was bummed out about that too.
Yeah.
I do appreciate that my hunch that I wasn't terribly confident in, that last week John was really freaked out about Spin the Wheel. And Candice was very overly confident about Spin the Wheel.
Very comfortable, yeah.
Went the other way, and that, boy, Candice really, man.
Oh, she took some crazy bumps, man.
That match was crazy.
We go to commentary, and of course, Wade and Vic said they're going to have a costume contest. Wade just dressed up as Bad News Barrett, and that he just brought a gavel. Nothing else was different.
Yeah, but he said his line.
Oh,
so that was really... I'm afraid... And Vic was dressed up, and he literally looked exactly like Waldo.
Yeah,
from the Where's Waldo books.
Yeah.
And I'm afraid I got some bad news. You're dressed up like a fool on a national stage. That
Wade
was
Barrett's
funny.
really good. Wade Barrett's really
He's
good.
really good.
After that, we got a quick bit of Pat McAfee, O'Neal Lorcan, and Danny Burch walking backstage. And then Cameron Grimes, he's all freaked out about this Haunted House of Terror match. Regal steps up to him. It's like, well, why aren't you in the parking lot? He's kind of like putting on a little bit of a sinister air. Regal is.
Yeah.
He says there's a van waiting for you out there.
Ugh.
And Grimes is like, are you sure you really don't want to put me in a wrestling match with the ring right out there? I don't want to go in the parking lot. Is there a ring out there? And Regal's like, come on, let's just go to the parking lot.
Come on. So
escorts him outside.
Yeah, after that, we get Pat McAfee and his crew, Oni Lorcan and Danny Burch. He talks about Halloween Havoc being the second best night for NXT ever, the first being his debut. Talks about some crap. He talks some crap about internet wrestling fans. He says, Adam Cole, after our match, didn't even say congratulations or anything after that terrific match. He confessed to paying Ridge Holland with a Mercedes because Ridge didn't want cash. He wanted a car.
All right.
So he paid him with a Mercedes to attack Cole. And then as he did, I guess he did this in a social media video as well. He kayfabed Oni Lorcan, seeing that he was the guy who destroyed Ridge's leg in a million pieces. As okay, well, I'm going to bring this guy on now. You know what I really loved about this, about giving some reason behind this, is now when Ridge comes back, he's going to have purpose. He's going to have a target, a focus, something to do when he comes back, and he'll be a huge babyface. So I think that's really good for him. I mean, God knows when that's going to be. His leg is, pretty tore up.
Yeah, he's probably out a year, yeah. I like the bit where, so he said he reached out to Oni and Danny and said, like, hey, let's, well, you guys want to work for me? And they're like, no, we can't be bought. But then they lost Undisputed Era. Called up, was like, all right, let's talk money.
Yeah.
So I kind of like that. It wasn't strictly a situation where McAfee opened up his checkbook and they were attentive. It was a situation where Lorcan and Birch were like, well, we already lost these guys. We need to get up. We just take it up another level. How are we going to do this?
Yeah, I also like that McAfee talked about how they get no respect in the company. They're the hardest workers. And he's like, these guys need to get some microphones so they can say their piece because they need more respect. And as soon as Danny Burch is about to grab a mic, the Undisputed Era's music hits. It's Kyle O'Reilly. Of course, they're still saying that Fish and Strong are out. So he comes out. But he's not alone. He brings Pete Dunne with him.
Oh,
and
man.
Pete Dunne is in amazing shape.
Ripped. Now, I'd seen some pictures on social media that he was ripped. But this is the first time seeing him in person. I haven't been watching NXT UK. And, man, ripped.
Yeah.
Ripped.
He looks absolutely terrific.
He looks incredible. So he comes down the ring with a couple chairs. So O'Reilly's standing on the apron. Dunn gets up there, hands him one of the chairs. They hit the ring. McAfee, Lorcan, Birch, they step out on the apron. You see where this is going. You totally see where this is going. So Kyle O'Reilly takes a couple steps forward, talking trash to McAfee and crew, drops the chair. When he does that, Pete Dunne, who's about 2 steps behind him, clobbers him with the chair, kicks him in the head. They all start beating him down, and then Lorcan and Birch hit their finish on a chair, and then McAfee dubs them the new kings of NXT, and then he calls Kyle O'Reilly Cauliflower Kyle.
Oh, I missed that. Yeah, that's
probably because it's cauliflower here from wrestling stuff.
Yeah, it looks pretty rough. Half those dudes have that kind of stuff, though. So yeah, the Kings. Is that going to be like an official moniker for them?
Well, he just said we're
the
kings of this brand, so probably not.
Oh, okay, all right. So anyway, that's what he should call him, the brand. He's big on the brand. What did his shirt say? It said something about the
do it for the brand.
Do it for the brand.
Something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. Good for them, man. I love that Lorcan and Birch are in like a stable. They got Pete Dunne as their main guy. I'm assuming. I don't think they're. Yeah.
I'm happy Pete Dunne's back on NXT Prime, man.
Yeah, me too, dude.
Pete Dunne's great.
It's great. So after that, Cameron Grimes is backstage. He's like, look, I don't want to do this. I'll just take the loss. And Regal's like, no, you have to go outside. So Grimes goes out the side thinking Regal's going to follow him, but he doesn't. So he can't get back inside. A shitty white van pulls up. And there's like a weird looking Charles Rocket looking zombie guy in the
That dude looks really
seat.
familiar.
He looked like Charles Rocket. He literally looked like Charles Rocket.
Who's Charles Rocket?
You remember Charles Rocket? You know it's Charles Rocket. I think his name is Charles Rocket.
Here, I'll look it up. You can.
Who's the guy who cursed on Yeah, Charles Rocket. He's the guy who cursed on Saturday Night Live that one time.
Wow, that's an obscure reference. Oh, he looked a little bit like him.
Oh, man, it's funny. Maybe somebody in chat knows who he actually is.
He looked really familiar. Anyway, so yeah, he's out there. Van pulls up. He says, well, if I'm going to get in this van, I'm going to ride shotgun. Yeah, that's when the dude was in the front seat. And then out of the side door comes Michael P.S. Hayes, doot. And he's kind of giving Grimes like a pep talk, right?
I think, or was he just talking? I thought that he was just
the audio
speaking.
was so bad.
It was really low, and I heard the word Backstreet, and I just thought that maybe he was reciting lyrics to the Backstreet song. Bad Street. Sorry, Bad Street, not Backstreet.
I heard he was explaining why they called him, why he was Bad Street. I made that much out.
Okay. Somehow, something in there convinced Grimes to get in the van, because he did. The van zooms away. After that, we had Jake Atlas versus Santos Escobar wearing some, Rey Mysterio Halloween Havoc 1997 trunks. Pants. They were just, they look so great. He also had some Dia de los Muertos makeup, a bit reminiscent of Darby Allin these days, but of course there's a long tradition for that.
Still look great.
Thunder Rosa
awesome.
has similar makeup as well. The other two guys in his crew as well were sporting the same sort of makeup.
It was pretty
really
awesome.
Cool. Yeah.
This was a fun match. It wasn't very long.
It was pretty quick.
But Jake Atlas comes out on fire after Santos has the early advantage. Atlas actually hits his finish, that cartwheel DDT, and then Joaquin Wilde puts Santos's foot on the rope. So the ref is arguing with him. And while the ref's arguing with Raul and Joaquin, Atlas hits a tope over the ref, taking them out. And so the ref's still distracted by stuff. And then Raul puts on the loaded mask, headbutts Jake Atlas. Santos hits his new finish. I guess he's not doing the Phantom Driver anymore to get the win.
Yeah, I wonder why. The Phantom Driver's great.
Yeah, he always put a lot of stank on that too.
Maybe that's why.
Could be.
After that, Shotzi in another costume change.
Oh, there's an Ember Moon video package.
Oh, yeah, I didn't know. It just seemed kind of generic. But yeah,
she's talking about how Dakota Kai was like, you know, can't remember the exact term she used. Anyways, about the evolution of Dakota Kai. You know, from, you know, she was always so scared of Shayna Baszler, so on and so forth, and now she's a bad guy and doesn't seem scared of anybody.
I kind of feel a bit like Ember Moon seems like the kind of person who would really enjoy being part of the Halloween Havoc festivities. Dressed, I mean, maybe she was in a costume in the crowd. I don't know, but I feel like she kind of felt, or she was kind of left out of this. She just got a workout video package. But anyways, so after that, I think Shotzi introduced the Haunted House of Terror. So yeah, so the van pulls up. And Grimes is now at like it's sort of a shitty house with a bunch of crappy stuff happening. And honestly, like this was not. See, the cinematic stuff like this works best. Like, okay, I guess the closest one would be the House of Horrors match between Bray and Randy, and that doesn't really speak to the point I was about to make. I think I'm more thinking of the Boneyard match when there's like little wrestling references peppered in there. Like, I want more stuff that's very unique to the characters that are involved in this. Like Dexter Lumis, this is like supposed to be his bread and butter, right? This is his wheelhouse match.
He seemed more of a bit player in this whole thing.
He did. This seemed more like Cameron Grimes versus zombies. So anyways, yeah, he gets in the house and he's like, Loomis, where are you, Loomis? And weird shit starts to happen. Like a little kid's bike goes rolling by, and he's like, I didn't know you had kids.
That's pretty funny. And
then sort of you see Loomis in the background. He's about to start stalking Grimes, and Grimes doesn't notice.
I did appreciate the Blair Witch Project reference with the ref standing in the corner.
Yeah. So after that, yeah, he goes deeper into the house, and there's a ref standing with his face towards the corner. And Grimes asks him if this is a pinfall submission match. He's like, did you just win by pinfall or submission? The ref turns around. He's got like a weird face.
Yeah.
And he goes, ah. So Loomis attacks. Grimes gets away. Loomis sort of stalks him. Grimes ends up in the bathroom. And he closes the door. He's all freaked out. He turns around, and there's the silhouette of a lady behind the shower curtain, and she's showering. So immediately he wants to crush, right? So he starts like saying, oh, hey, I didn't know Loomis had a sister. And he starts undressing, and he's like, all right. It's weird that he just like immediately wants to bang while being stalked by Dexter Lumis.
Yeah.
Which is both confusing and absolutely hilarious. So anyways, I'm assuming he's buck naked. He opens up the shower curtain, and it's like a weird, like zombie sort of The Ring type looking lady. She's like sort of black and white themed. And she does, I think she like
crawling
does the
out of
weird
the tub backward type thing. Yeah.
Yeah. That kind of stuff. So he freaks out. I'm assuming at some point he puts his pants back on.
Yeah.
So he starts.
Let me ask you a question.
Because
I feel like I know the answer. Does Cameron Grimes wear underwear under his jeans?
No,
he doesn't.
No. And he washes the jeans at most in kayfabe once a week.
Yeah.
But
at most. And he probably does it at the lake in downtown Orlando.
He does, yeah. Exactly.
He gets the washboard out.
Yeah, exactly. There's a stream somewhere. So anyways, after that...
so Grimes is pleading to somebody to let him out of the house. Loomis grabs him through a window. Grimes escapes, gets freaked out by a bunch of stuff, runs into Loomis again. There's some back and forth. Then there's a bunch of zombies. One of them jumps on Grimes. He runs outside with her on his back, flings the zombie off. More zombies chase him back to the van. Grimes gets back in it. He looks. Loomis is driving. So Grimes gets out and just starts running.
Yeah, he bolts. And then we get a cheesy to be continued. I mean, I do appreciate that they cheesed it up quite a bit. They just, Borash basically tried to make a little mini horror movie. There was a lot of effort put into this. It didn't look as, I mean, it honestly, it looked very professionally filmed. I will give them that. Like there was nothing that added anything to the horror genre, but they effectively conveyed some tropes of modern day horror.
I'll say
genres.
this: watching this, I had a much better idea of the geography of the space than I ever did during that backlot brawl.
That's
which
a
should
really
be
good
possible
point.
because the backlot brawl was just one large open space. Here's a house
very good point.
with confined spaces with separate rooms, and yet at no point did I feel lost.
Yeah. That's a really good. And here's the thing. That is such an underrated skill that a filmmaking storyteller can possess.
Like I remember Black Hawk Down, which as a movie, whatever.
Yeah, never saw it.
Oh, like you know exactly where because some of the action scenes are pretty dang intricate.
Yeah,
but in terms of knowing where you are, in terms of the geography of that movie is really well done.
Oh, that's interesting.
In terms
that's
of
cool.
you knowing where everybody is in relation to everybody else and the individual spaces, it's pretty well done. If I remember correctly, but I've only seen it the one time. So,
well, if that stuck with you, you're probably right. The preparation that would involve.
Well, it's Ridley Scott, so
is pretty crazy. So, anyways, yeah, he goes running off. To be continued. After that, oh man, this was a really great match. Rhea Ripley versus Raquel Gonzales.
Oh, the first half was, especially, let's say the second half was bad. The first half was just fantastic. They were laying some stiff shots into each other.
For the first time, Rhea Ripley couldn't sort of overpower somebody. And that was the story of this match, is that try as she may, she couldn't overpower her. But this match went long, and with Rhea Ripley's experience, she was able to outlast Raquel Gonzales, and that's how she was able to finish her. But yeah, the first half was just, it was stiff, it was physical. It was Rhea Ripley trying to outpower Raquel Gonzales, and Raquel not having any of it. She power bombed her into the barricade on the outside and then to the floor. At one point, Rhea got Raquel into submission, tried to do like a sit down for a pin, only got 2 there. Raquel hits kind of like a Tour of the Islands type thing. Rhea kicked out of that. They go up top, and Raquel tries to superplex Rhea. He uses some strikes to counter, then tries to hit a riptide from up top, but Raquel gets out of that. Raquel just goes and throws Rhea off the top, tries for her finish. Rhea counters, throwing her into a turnbuckle, and then almost immediately locks her in for a riptide, hits that for 3. Really, really terrific stuff between these two.
Fantastic.
Yeah, excellent
Fantastic. We get a quick shot. Cameron Grimes, he's still running, and the commentary wonders, is he running back to the Capitol Wrestling Center?
Yeah.
So we get Drake Maverick. He's doing an interview as Hollywood Hulk Hogan. And so he's talking about how he and Dane are running wild over the tag division. In steps some dude dressed as the Giant, another as the Yeti. And they're kind of like sandwiching Drake. Shockmaster busts through a curtain. It's Dane. And then Drake's like, well, why didn't you're supposed to trip. You're supposed to fall. And Dane says, no, I got rid of that board that you put down there for me. You set up earlier so I didn't trip. Dane was great in this whole segment.
Dane was great. Dude, he's showing so much character now.
His comedic timing is perfect.
It's really good. It is really good. So then Drake takes the bedazzled Shockmaster mask, and he's like, well, then I'll wear it. So he puts it on. He ends up tripping and falling. And I forget what did Dane say here for the punch.
I think he said you look like an ass.
Yeah, but he's got like a big smile on his face. It's very slowly adding layers. You know, we're getting to know his personality, which is pretty vital if you want somebody to succeed.
Exactly. Now Grimes is back at the CWC, comes into the arena. He collapses on the cemetery set. Bad move because the zombies rise. And so the really flexible zombie ladies there, and then a couple others, they kind of chase him to the ring. Loomis sneaks up behind him. He works over Grimes, hits a spine buster. Some zombies crawl in. There's more in the ringside area. Grimes hits one of them with a cave-in. And then this woman must be a contortionist or something.
The way she was moving around,
ridiculous.
It almost looked CG. Yeah. Like it was so well done. And he was a statue. He was just there, which is probably like necessary so she can get her bearings.
Yeah,
like she was just
base.
Yeah, exactly. She was just crawling all over him.
It was insane.
And then until she got in position for him to like throw her at Loomis. It was really, really great stuff. And I sort of mentioned this, I think, before we started rolling. It's funny because number one, I really love that Barrett was kind of clowning it because like there's smoke everywhere, or dry, whatever they use for smoke, fog
Dry
machine.
ice, yeah.
There's fog,
fog machine, yeah.
And he's like, where did all this smoke come from all of a sudden? And
he's worried about the smoke, I know.
Yeah, exactly. And so I kind of feel like, given that they had such a really great set, and Grimes, when the zombie ladies appeared again, he was in the graveyard area of the set. I don't know if it was funny for the shower bit, but it was kind of unnecessary. The entirety of that cinematic thing was kind of unnecessary because I thought that the stuff, the small amount of stuff, because comparatively it was not very long in the ring.
It was way better than the house stuff.
It was. It was much more creative. And in the house, in the cinematic, you just sort of, it's sort of the generic horror movie tropes, but you don't see a lot of zombies in like a wrestling landscape. Mm-hmm. And so, I remember when Sue Young had her zombies, it was really effective stuff. It was really cool stuff. And it kind of reminded me of what they did tonight. If you go that route where you're in the wrestling world and you're using the fog machines, and then you have these zombies creeping out of the graveyard site, you can even go back into the bowels of the performance center. There's a lot of cool stuff you could do there. Mm-hmm. That being said, it was all goofy fun and it was pretty neat. So yeah, he hits him with the side effect and then locks on the vice, and Loomis gets the win. Yeah,
Grimes passes out. We get a Candice EO video package next, and then Tommaso Ciampa promo. I think if I may paraphrase the text you sent me, Steve, because it's dead on.
Please
do. I thought the exact same thing. It was effectively, this promo screams they have nothing for me creatively.
Why was he wearing a Tommaso Ciampa superhero logo on his chest? It was like somebody said, hey, either the greatest American hero or Superman.
You're the greatest sports entertainer. So.
Right. Make a Tommaso Ciampa one. This promo, he said... How many times have you heard from a wrestler when they have nothing for them? What do? This place has changed, but I remain the same. That's it. They just take 5 minutes to get there.
And then he says it all starts with Velveteen Dream, someone with a lot of promise can't get his own way. And then he had like you hit me with the cast once, shame on me. Shame on you. Hit me with the cast twice. You're a dead man.
Yeah. Dun, 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 dun.
Tommaso Ciampa.
Yeah. They need to find something. Here's the thing. Like, it's easy to say, and maybe he doesn't want to. He said that in the past. It's easy to say, hey, send him to SmackDown or send him to Raw. He probably fit better on Raw. But I don't know. Just find something for him to do. He doesn't have to be a bad guy. He doesn't have to be a good guy. Just have him be him and give him a story to work with.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's weird. They just don't do anything with him.
He's got such a great presence, and he's such a looming figure.
Mm-hmm.
They really need to find something for him because this promo is just, hey, he's still around. He's still here.
Yeah, I'm still really good. So next week we're getting Ciampa versus Velveteen Dream. Also, Ember Moon versus Dakota Kai. So there's two potentially pretty solid matches to hold things down. Next week, speaking of solid matches, this main event was off the charts. Candice LeRae versus Io Shirai. I kind of knew Io was going to win, even if I hadn't watched the first match because of that her entrance with the Poppy performance.
Mm-hmm.
That just screamed, I'm winning. And
yeah,
that's totally what it was.
But dude, they did such a good job. I was less sure because we've had conversations about entrance attires, entrances. What do they mean? We've never really done the math on. Yeah. Hey, there's a series for us. Do the math on.
I guess for me, it wasn't just the entrance and the spectacle of it. just the way Io walked out of there. And like she usually walks out there like she owns the place.
Yeah.
Tonight, I don't know. It just felt like she owned the place.
Before we get into this, does this signal anything for Candice? I feel like a loss like this signals she's got to win this title at some point, because this wasn't, her story has been too heavy into, Dakota Kai fought for the title. Shayna had 1 million people try to get the title. And it was kind of obvious. Once Rhea came along, it was like, oh, this makes sense. With Candice, the way their story, especially with Johnny winning the title tonight, she has to win this title, I would think.
You would think, but I don't know on what ground she could get a rematch of any sort, Well,
I mean, that's the one thing about this match. Like, yeah, she lost the last one. She had reason to say, hey, I forgot, what was her reason to
it was the ref bump, and then Johnny put the shirt on, and it was
just
a really overbooked ending.
It was overbooked, yeah. This was a spin the wheel match. That ain't a straight up match.
Yeah, obviously. Exactly.
And then she can say, and she won't have a leg to stand on because she had somebody trying to help her. Shotzi got involved as well.
Yeah.
So it feels like I really want, as much as I love Io Shirai, I think she's terrific. And I could, if she was champion for a year, I'd be happy because she deserves it. But Candice has been around. She's been in NXT for a little while now. And we've been waiting for her to get that kind of spotlight.
She's had some good matches before. This is the match I think people are, if you're not aware of what Candice has done in her career, this is the match that people are going to start really paying attention to her, because there's a lot of really good creative stuff in here. She took a couple of really ridiculous bumps. Like the cell she had. So at one point, so go back a little bit, Shotzi spins the wheel. It's a table, ladders, scares match. Io comes out fast. At one point, they're on the floor. Io pulls out a ladder, and then Candice drop toe holds her into it, and then she pulls out a table, and on top of this table is a bag. So she pours out the contents of this bag, and it's a bunch of body parts, arms, legs, and such.
And a head.
She freaks out.
There was a head in there too.
And then Io grabs an arm and smacks Candice with it.
Lacey marked out for that. She sat down just to start eating, and she saw Io. She's like, "Oh my god!" And then Io started beating her with her arm. She's like, "Oh my god, that's amazing."
It's pretty.
It was
funny.
Really great.
It was pretty really great. Funny. This match went all over the place. Did all sorts of crazy stuff. That spinning neck breaker off the apron through those tables set up ringside.
Yeah.
Nuts.
I wonder if
nuts.
There's another thing that we need to do math on, like to look at the percentages of times. People who set up stuff, because in this match alone, Io set up the tables that she went through with the neck breaker.
It's 90% at least. If you set something up, you're going through it.
Io laid down all those chairs and hit her moonsault, missed Candice and hit the chairs.
Candice set up the ladder that she went through at the finish.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, she set up the bridge ladder. That's right.
90%, I swear. If you set something up in a WWE match, if you set a table, a chair, a ladder up, you're going through it.
Yeah.
That's the way it is. So anyways, the finish, the bit with the dragon screw leg whip with the chair around the ankle, that was great. I'd never seen that before.
Yeah, I'd never seen that before.
So the finish sees, Candice hits that swinging neck breaker off the apron, through a couple tables ringside. That was great. And so this Scream antagonist comes out again. And so they put Candice in the ring, essentially put Candice on their shoulders and starts to climb the ladder for her. So Candice is kind of draped over the top of the ladder. Shotzi runs out, dumps Scream antagonist onto the pile of chairs. So Io comes back into the ring. She sets up her own ladder. Candice starts to come at two. She starts reaching for the belt, but she's at a bad angle. Can't really get it. So Io climbs up there. Candice claws Io in the eye. She falls off. Candice is reaching some more. And then Io pushes over the ladder that Candice is on, and then puts her through that ladder that she bridged between the apron and the announce table.
That was from a long way up.
And here's the thing, too. It was so long that they put that ladder up, I had more or less forgotten about it. I'm like, oh, shit, she's going to fall to the floor. No.
Yeah.
Not that going through the ladder is much better, but...
Because she braced it with her knee, kind of. I mean, she's a pro. She's done this a ton of times. But yeah, it's always a scary thing to watch that. But she did it, and the refs immediately came over. She was fine.
That Io climbs the ladder, retrieves her title, still champion. Fantastic match.
Absolutely fantastic. Absolutely fantastic stuff. Let's take some questions. I got a thread here on the Patreon, I think. Let me double check.
We'll start with this one because it's a good question. I'm just trying to do something. Why is NXT not that good at cinematic matches?
Yeah, they're not batting a great average right now. I mean,
I'll posit this. I don't have any evidence. It might be a matter of time.
Oh yeah, that could be.
It could just be stuff that, well, we got 4 hours to do this, as opposed to like the Boneyard match. They probably were up all night doing that. That's probably 8 hour, 10 hour shoot.
Yeah.
The Firefly Funhouse, that probably took a couple days. That backlot brawl, Cole and Velveteen Dream, felt like they shot that in 3 hours.
Can I suggest this also? Because I think, technically speaking, like, you're probably right. That would not shock me. None of the NXT matches that have been the cinematic matches, none of them have been necessitated by story.
Oh, definitely.
The Firefly Funhouse is or by concept, I should say. That was a brilliant concept. The Undertaker AJ Styles match. It wasn't necessarily a great concept, but you have two old bastards, one especially old bastard, and they just, I mean, look, there was nothing special about that beyond they just filmed a really cool fight scene in a pretty decent location. That's all there was. It was just an entertaining fight scene.
But you contrast that with the Gargano Ciampa cinematic match, which was just the fight scene, and it was dull.
Yeah. That's a good point.
And if any of those matches is motivated by story, you'd think it'd be Ciampa Gargano.
Yeah. The thing about Ciampa Gargano is that
was a double dip, though. That was after Ciampa
they had already had like classic matches. We had stuff to like we had, 15,000 screaming fans several times to witness that, and that's always going to be. So they didn't do anything new. They just had a match.
Yeah,
that was filmed cinematically, and that's just not that interesting. A cinematic match really should have nothing to do about. There shouldn't really be any pro wrestling involved in a cinematic match. What are the best cinematic matches so far have been Firefly Funhouse, the Money in the Bank, which was a mad world. That's what that was. It was a mad dash for the Money in the Bank through the WWE headquarters. Brilliant. Good stuff.
Yeah, a lot of fun.
The Boneyard match was just a straight up fight scene, but it was filmed, like you could tell they put a lot of production into that. Like it was filmed really, really well.
Yeah.
What other cinematic matches am I missing?
There was the Viking Raiders Street Profits one with the alligator.
Yeah, that did not need. Well, I mean, I guess they did. They had those vignettes leading up to it. That actually would have been much more effective if it was not so long.
Yeah,
but
it was way too long.
Conceptually speaking, it was just way too much. It was just
all over
the
the place. Yeah, it was all over the place. If it was more focused and shorter, it might have been decent.
Yeah.
And then the NXT ones.
Yeah. The NXT ones, like the Gargano Ciampa one, there just wasn't a good concept there. They was just, hey, let's have a wrestling match and let's film it nice. The Cole Dream one was just an absolute mess. I wonder if that was one where, they didn't have a lot of time, and they also thought it would be easier than they thought it would be. They probably didn't storyboard that shit.
Maybe not.
Yeah, Gargano Ciampa was a really long match.
Yeah. Shane's birthday tweet asks, what hurts more, a steel chair or a disembodied arm? I think physically the chair would.
Yeah.
But that doesn't take into effect the psychological aspect of getting hit with a severed arm. Yeah,
that'll mess you up. Rich asks, well, we already sort of answered this, but Rich asks, who do we think attacked Damien Priest? Who was under the Scream I think Austin Theory is a good guess because the Gargano way is supposed to be a path to get you back on the right path, or is a path.
Yeah.
It's a philosophy that gets you right back on the right path.
Yeah, and they've had some interaction before. Gargano and Theory, they had a match.
A match. Yeah, where they
was pretty good.
Yeah.
Jorge D, ideally, if they had the space, what matches would you want to see from the wheel instead? I think matches actually on the wheel. I can't think of anything that was lacking. Like they had the coal miner's glove, blindfold, chambers of horrors.
Yeah. No. Ryan Armstrong, how far away was the Halloween house they used for Dexter Lumis versus Cameron Grimes? Well, if it took a half hour for Cameron Grimes to sort of slow run to back to the, probably be a couple miles, I guess.
It's probably somewhere in Winter Park. Fear and Loathing, these NXT theme shows are like school dances. Just decorate the gymnasium and throw a party.
It does feel that way. Yeah, it does. Let's see here.
White Brownie, the best way to get the title on Candice, protect EO, is for a fatal four-way between EO, Candice, Indy, and Shotzi.
Yeah.
It's possible.
After this match, though, I just don't know if... I don't know. They've never really cared much about protecting people. I mean, there's a different dynamic because people sometimes jump to main roster.
There's a few people that were pretty well protected, but by and large.
Yeah. Like, if you're going to move on, you're going to move on.
Yeah.
But I think with Candice, I don't know. Dwayne Nix, how long before Pete Dunne is walking around with either the North American title or the NXT strap? Well, you've got...
give me Finn versus Peter Dune.
Yeah, that'd be pretty terrific. That'd be pretty great if McAfee's group gets done with Undisputed Era and they set their sights higher. I mean, I don't want McAfee. Dunne needs to be the guy, you know?
Yes.
McAfee needs to be the money who wants to control things.
Yes.
And if he gets involved in a match, so be it.
Yeah. Gareth Nicholas, Shotzi got the best of Scream character. Could this have been Robert Stone? Nah. No, Johnny seemed in on whoever gave him the tombstone based on the smile he gave Scream character before the handoff.
Weren't they going to do something with Shotzi and Robert Stone tonight?
Don't recall.
He was conspicuously absent.
Was.
James Rodriguez, assuming COVID wasn't a thing, do you think NXT would have scheduled Halloween Havoc as a takeover on Halloween this year since it falls on a Saturday? Nah, no. I think they like to try to use these themed episodes to pop ratings.
Yeah, definitely. Nicholas Grosskirth, was it a missed opportunity not having the Big Show play himself as the Giant tonight?
That'd be pretty cool.
That'd be pretty funny. He had a wig on.
Yeah.
Came out with a cigarette.
Tyler Quint, what title picture should Dexter Lumis be in? I think
24/7.
Him and Finn. No title. No title. He didn't. What would a serial killer need with it? It's too much of a spotlight on him. They like to operate in the shadows.
He doesn't want to have the target on his back. He wants to be the one targeting.
He's targeted.
Dang MQ says one of the zombies is Brianna Brandy. Her white braids are quite noticeable. Hope she actually wrestles.
Oh, okay. Yeah, she did look familiar. That's right.
She was really good when she did the couple interview bits on Raw Underground.
Yeah, that one time she was on. No, she was good. I liked her. And then Raw Underground folded. Hey, in kayfabe, what do you think happened to Raw Underground? I think in kayfabe, Shane's got a really low attention span, and he just moved on to the next thing.
I kind of feel like everybody saw Braun beat the hell out of Dabba-Kato, and they're like, all right, well, no point bothering with this. I forgot to deal with Braun.
Yeah, they all saw that, and they're like, oh, they just start leaving.
It's like, Anthony, what is the best way to book Candice to the title, considering how many chances she's had?
Wait, what's that? What's the
best way to book Candice to the title, considering how many chances she's had?
I'd say have her just offer up, I don't know, like an Iron Man match or something. I mean, look, there are gimmicks, but there are gimmicks that prove I am better, you know? Like, there are gimmicks that, or maybe just a gimmick-less match, you know?
Yeah.
But after this, I'd love to see Candice versus Io in an Iron Man match, like one of those 30-minute ones.
Heck
That'd
yeah,
be
man.
terrific.
A Peachy Tree, do you think people go through the items they set up because it's safer that way? You can ensure the table is at the angle you can hit, things like that.
Yeah, I was thinking about that. I absolutely. You know, you set it up. You know what you're doing. You're the one going through it.
Could be.
I thought about that tonight.
Could be.
Cal would probably know. Cal might know.
Maybe they teach that stuff at the PC. Night by Night, what Halloween candy do you think Dexter Loomis prefers?
Are there any like what are they called? The ones, are they called gushers? The ones where you like you bite into them because it's like you're biting the flesh.
Yeah, maybe. I'll say something like kind of weird, like the circus peanuts.
Circus
or
peanuts.
the cigarettes that are actually bubble gum.
That's what Big Show likes. Wolfpack for life. Will we ever see a Cyber Sunday type of pay-per-view?
Maybe. NXT doesn't seem to mind doing kind of the cheesier, gimmicky stuff from time to time. You know,
it works because they have such strong wrestling as a base, and when they do stuff, they know how to do it, so it's kind of cool. They understand how to do cheesy and to make fun of cheesy without being cheesy. You know what I mean? Like it's tongue in cheek.
Gaming with Cage. Don't forget about Toni Storm. Gaming with Cage thinks she might be the one to take the title off Io, then Candice might beat her for it.
I will believe that when I see it. I know they want big things for Toni Storm. She's very likable, and she's an excellent wrestler. I've never been huge on her promos. I've always felt that they just, who her promos kind of remind me of? Emma, Tennille Dashwood. How there's just not a lot to grab onto there. I don't know.
I could see that. That's
just sort of my, and I think that until she can do something, look, I think she's always going to connect with the crowd because like she's such a good wrestler and she's so likable. But I do kind of think that might be one element that's missing there.
Could be. White Brownie, what other WCW pay-per-views would you love to see NXT bring back? Hog Wild.
Yeah, bunch of motorcycles. Yeah, this is kind of at the top of the list. Like this, we've been asked this question before. This was at the top of the list.
Yeah, pretty much was.
Yeah.
Anthony asks, on the topic of cinematics in wrestling, fans are obviously divided about them. What is their place in pro wrestling? Just on occasion when it's motivated by story.
I like this. Night by Night says, Steve literally just slammed my two favorite women's wrestlers in one shot. No, they're both great wrestlers. Emma's a really good wrestler. Toni Storm is a terrific wrestler. They're both kind of mumblers. They're both kind of mumblers. Let's Big Chris says, do you think Priest is headed to the NXT title picture after tonight, especially if Finn vacates? I wouldn't be mad at that.
Possible.
I wouldn't be mad at that.
No, I wouldn't be mad at that either.
I think he's probably going to come back around a North American title scene, though.
Dangam Q says Charles Rocket was the main villain from Dumb and Dumber, the one who held Jim Carrey and Lauren Holly hostage in the hotel room, and Carrey filled the briefcase with IOUs.
Yeah. He also said fuck on Saturday Night Live.
Don't remember that. When was that? How long ago was that?
Oh, dude, it was during a bad scene. It was like 1981. It was like during the crap seasons.
Gotcha.
Yeah, he was one of the when all the good people left in 1980. He was one of the people that showed up. I forget if he got fired for that, though. Let's see here. Ollie B says, so because I'm in isolation because of my housemate with COVID, I've been listening to you guys to keep my sanity. Thanks for that. Here's the wrestling question. Oh, is Damian Priest next in line for NXT title? I think he's probably going to wait a little while. I think it's going to wait. I think he's going to come back around to Gargano. I think he's going to try to get that title back off him.
Especially
but I don't
after
know.
that finish. Yeah, I think you're right about that. John Elite 45 for life. If NXT was to be involved in the monthly pay-per-view, should they still do the takeovers? Yeah, because if they were involved for whatever reason, these monthly pay-per-views, they just have like a showcase match, occasional title matches, but keep most of their important matches for their own takeovers.
Wait, what was the question? Oh,
if NXT was to be involved in monthly pay-per-view, should they still do takeovers?
Oh, if they were like in the main roster pay-per-views?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know. I think that premise is probably so far that I don't think that's going to happen.
Well, I don't think it'll ever happen either.
If that happened, I would think that maybe they would fold the takeovers, but I don't think they would do that. Because that's a lot of pay. That's a lot of big matches to have, and they still want to try to pop ratings on TV. Oh, this is a great question. I'll end on this one. Dominist. With Tony Storm and Pete Dunne both recently getting back to NXT Prime, how much longer will it take for the grizzled... Man, I love Oney Lorcan and Danny Burch. How cool would it have been for the grizzled young veterans to be with McAfee and then done with them? That'd have been kind of cool, man. I hope they come back soon.
Yeah, me too. Me too.
Oh, this is another good one. Alex Foster. What would Pat McAfee give you to join his group if money wasn't an option? So money's not on the table, but he will grant you the item or items of your choice.
Can I ask for a fully stocked ATM machine?
That's just money. That's money. Fully stocked with money.
Yeah.
No, you can't ask that. I would just go for the Mercedes. It was good enough for Ridge Holland. I'll take a Mercedes.
Yeah, I'm not really a huge car guy.
Yeah, man, I'll take a Mercedes. Give me a 71.
Well, it's anything I want.
Mustang, Super Sport.
Give me a private plane, private jet.
I want Steve McQueen's bullet car.
I want a private jet, and then I want McAfee to cover the cost to put it in a hangar when I'm not using it, which is like all the time.
Here it is. Jorge has it right. Or Steve would want ownership over FilmRise. I want the Unsolved Mysteries tape library. Anyways, that's going to do it for us. Twitch chat, stick around. We'll see if anybody is up for a raid. Thanks for watching, everybody. We'll be back tomorrow at noon Pacific, 3 Eastern on Twitch for our AEW review. Thanks for watching. Until next time, we'll talk to you later.
Goodbye.
Be a part of the best pro wrestling podcast today at patreon.com/Steven Larson. Enjoy tons of bonus videos, including patron-only live shows, gameplay, and vintage 10 for the wins, access to podcast question threads, the Friendo Care Package, and so much more. Support Going In Raw today at patreon.com/Steven Larson.